In 3 days, you can eat something you grew yourself. No soil, no garden, no waiting. And that's actually the easiest one on this entire list. I'm about to show you 10 vegetables that go from seed to plate in under 30 days, including one leafy crop that almost nobody grows. Even though it's faster and tastier than half the stuff sitting in your fridge right now. We'll get to that one at number 8, and I promise it's gonna surprise you. Stick around to the very end because the last thing I share, the bonus tip, is the single habit that will keep fresh food coming out of your garden all season long, without starting over from scratch every time. It's something experienced growers swear by, and most beginners never hear about it, until they've already lost a whole season to gaps and empty beds. I've been growing food for over 3 decades, in big backyards, in tiny apartment balconies, and everything in between. And one thing I've learned is that the number one reason people quit gardening is impatience. They plant something, nothing seems to happen for weeks, the excitement dies, and the bed gets abandoned. So today we're fixing that entirely. Every single crop on this list will give you something real to harvest in a month or less. Some of them in a week. One of them in 3 days. Let's get into it, starting with the undisputed speed king of the vegetable world. Number 1 is the radish. And if you've never grown one, this is where you start. Radishes are the fastest root vegetable you can grow. Period. We're talking 22 to 25 days from the moment you drop a seed in the ground to the moment you pull something out of it. That's not weeks of nervous waiting. That's under a month for an actual root crop with crunch and flavor. Here's how you grow them. Direct sow seeds about 1/4 of an inch deep, roughly an inch apart, in any patch of loose, well-draining soil that gets good sun. That's it. No transplanting. No fuss. Now, variety matters here. The classic is Cherry Belle. Round, bright red, and under good conditions it's ready in just 22 days. If you want something a little more elegant, try French breakfast. It's longer, slightly milder, and matures in about 25 days. Both are great. Both are fast. The one thing that trips people up with radishes is timing the harvest. If you leave them in the ground past their peak, they go woody and bitter fast. So watch for the moment the top of the root starts to peak above the soil line. Feel the shoulders. If they're firm and round, pull them. Don't wait. The greens are edible too, by the way. They have a lovely peppery bite that works beautifully in salads. Don't throw them away. Radishes grow in zones 2 through 10, and they're fantastic for tucking into gaps between slower growing plants like tomatoes or squash. They use space nothing else is using, and they're done before those bigger crops even get going. Think of radishes as your garden's warm-up act, quick, satisfying, and always reliable. Number 2 isn't technically a single vegetable. It's more of a category, but it earns its place near the top of this list because nothing grows faster. Microgreens are the young seedlings of many different crops: radish, sunflower, broccoli, pea shoots, red cabbage, harvested at the very first or second true leaf stage. That happens in 7 to 14 days. 1 to 2 weeks from sowing to eating. And here's the best part. You don't need a garden. You don't need a yard. You don't even need deep containers. A shallow tray with about an inch of moist potting mix on a sunny windowsill or under a grow light is all it takes to grow them. Spread seeds densely across the surface of the tray. Press them down gently, mist lightly, and cover the tray for the first 2 or 3 days. That darkness mimics soil and encourages fast germination. Once you see sprouts, uncover the tray and move it to the light. Harvest by snipping with scissors just above the soil line when the first true leaves are fully open. Now here's something that genuinely surprised me when I first learned it. Microgreens contain up to 40 times the concentration of vitamins and minerals found in the same plant at full maturity. 40 times. You're getting an extraordinary amount of nutrition in a tiny little snip of green. Popular fast-growing varieties to try: sunflower, for a nutty, satisfying crunch. Radish microgreens for heat and pepper. Pea shoots for something sweeter and mild. Each one tastes completely different, and you can mix them however you like. If you have zero outdoor space, if you're in a flat, a dorm, anywhere with a window, microgreens are how you start growing your own food today. Not next month. Today is all it takes. Number 3 is arugula. And if you've only ever bought it from a plastic clamshell at the supermarket, you're in for a treat. Because freshly cut arugula from your own garden is in a completely different league. It germinates in as few as 4 to 7 days and reaches harvestable baby leaf size in 21 to 28 days. It's also one of the easiest greens to grow, almost forgiving to a fault. Scatter seeds across the surface of moist soil in a pot or bed. Press them lightly, you're not burying them, just making contact. Keep them watered and stand back. Arugula loves cool weather, which makes it ideal for early spring and autumn. In hot weather it bolts, meaning it rushes to flower and the leaves turn sharply bitter. So give it full sun in cool seasons and partial shade if you're growing it through warmer months. In zones 3 through 11 you've got plenty of growing windows. 2 varieties worth knowing. Mild, fast, and productive. A great all-rounder. A wild variety with a more intense, nutty flavor. And it resists bolting longer. Now here's the technique that will get you the most out of arugula. Cut and come again. Instead of pulling the whole plant, snip the leaves about an inch above the soil line. Leave the base in the ground. It regrows repeatedly. A single sowing can give you 3 or 4 full cuts before it finally bolts and calls it a day. Close with appetite, make it feel real. Arugula on a pizza just out of the oven. In a simple lemon and Parmesan salad. Folded into pasta. It's one of those ingredients that makes everything feel more intentional. And it takes less than a month to grow. Number 4 is baby leaf lettuce. And when I say baby leaf, I mean we're not waiting for a full head to form. We're harvesting young, tender leaves at around 21 days. That's 3 weeks. Loose leaf varieties are what you want here. Salad bowl gives you those classic green ruffled leaves. Red Sales adds a gorgeous deep red. Black-seeded Simpson is crisp, light green, and one of the fastest of the bunch. Grow a mix, and your salad bowl will look like something from a restaurant. Sow directly on the surface of moist, well-draining soil. Press gently. Keep it watered. Lettuce germinates in 4 to 7 days, and the seedlings move fast in cool conditions. It thrives in zones 3 through 9 and genuinely prefers temperatures between 45 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Early spring and autumn are its sweet spot. In warmer months, give it afternoon shade to slow bolting. In cooler months, full sun is ideal. Use that cut and come again method again. Snip leaves an inch above the soil, and the plant regrows for another 3 or 4 cuts. And here's the succession tip that will change how you think about lettuce. Sow a small new patch every 2 weeks. By the time you finish cutting from the first patch, the second one is ready. You get an unbroken supply of fresh leaves, from early spring through to the first frost. Bagged lettuce from the supermarket starts losing nutrition the moment it's cut. What you cut from your own garden this morning is still alive. There's genuinely no comparison. Number 5 is one of the most overlooked crops in all of gardening. And I genuinely don't understand why. Garden cress. It germinates in 2 to 3 days and is ready to eat in 14 to 20 days. That is 2 weeks from nothing to harvest. You don't even need soil. You can grow cress on a damp paper towel. Scatter seeds on a moist surface. Keep it somewhere bright. A kitchen windowsill works perfectly. And check back in 2 weeks. That's the whole method. For anyone growing in a flat, a small space, or with no outdoor garden at all. Cress is your fastest possible win. It doesn't need intense sunlight. It doesn't need a container deeper than a few centimeters. It just needs moisture and light. The flavor is fresh, peppery, and slightly tangy, similar to watercress. Wonderful piled onto egg sandwiches, stirred into cream cheese, sprinkled over soups, or mixed through a salad for a real punch of flavor. There are 2 main types. Curly cress, delicate and feathery, and broadleaf cress, a little more substantial. Both grow just as fast. Both taste excellent. If you've never grown garden cress, try it this week. This week. Not when you get around to it. You'll have something to eat within a fortnight, and you'll wonder why it isn't in every kitchen. Number 6 is baby spinach. One of the most nutritious things you can grow, and one of the most satisfying to harvest. At the baby leaf stage, Spinach is ready in 25 to 30 days. Just under a month. 4 leaves that are tender, mild, and incredibly versatile. Sow seeds half an inch deep and about 2 inches apart, in rich, well-draining soil. Spinach germinates best when soil temperatures are between 45 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. It really is a cool weather crop. In heat, it bolts quickly, so time your sowing for spring and autumn. 2 reliable varieties for fast baby leaf harvests. Space, compact, uniform, and matures quickly. Bloomsdale long-standing. Beautiful, crinkled leaf, excellent flavor. And as the name suggests, it holds without bolting longer than most. Harvest the outer leaves with scissors once they reach 2 to 3 inches long, and the inner leaves keep growing, giving you multiple cuts from the same plant. Spinach is loaded with iron, vitamins A and C, and folate. Fresh baby spinach raw in a salad, wilted into eggs, blended into a smoothie, layered in a sandwich. It belongs in almost every meal. Like lettuce, succession sow every 2 weeks. This is the move. A steady rhythm of small sowings beats one big planting that all matures at once. Number 7 is the green onion, also called scallions or spring onions depending on where you're from. Full-size bulb onions take months. Green onions grown for their tops, 21 to 28 days from seed. And if you use the regrowth trick I'm about to show you, even faster. From seed option first, brief and clean. From seed, sow a 1/4 inch deep, about an inch apart, in any decent soil with partial to full sun. Evergreen Hardy White is a great bunching variety. Fast, flavorful, and it keeps regrowing after each harvest. But here's the trick that most people don't know. Next time you buy scallions from the supermarket, don't throw away the roots. Save the bottom inch or 2, the white part with the little root tendrils, and either drop them in a glass of water on your windowsill or plant them directly into soil. Within a week, sometimes less, you'll have fresh green tops to snip again. You're essentially growing food for free from something you would have composted. Warm, useful, close. Green onions are space efficient enough to grow in the narrowest container. They tolerate partial shade. The fresh, mild onion flavor improves virtually everything you cook. Stir-fries, soups, noodle bowls, scrambled eggs, tacos, they go with almost everything. Keep a little pot of them on your kitchen counter or windowsill. You'll use them more than you think. Number 8 is baby bok choy. And I meant it when I said most gardeners completely overlook this crop. Because they do. And it makes no sense because baby bok choy varieties like Ma Ching choy and Shanghai are ready to harvest in just 21 to 30 days. That's faster than full-size spinach. Faster than most lettuces. And it looks spectacular. Sow seeds a 1/4 inch deep, about 2 inches apart, in moist, well-draining soil with full sun to partial shade. Keep the soil consistently moist. Bok choy doesn't like drying out, and it will reward you with crisp, juicy stems and tender, glossy leaves that look like something you'd pay a premium for at a restaurant. It thrives in cooler weather, growing well in zones 2 through 11 during spring and autumn. Like most of the greens on this list, heat will push it to bolt. So give it the cool seasons. You have 2 harvesting options. Cut the whole plant at the base when it's reached a good size for a single satisfying harvest. Or take the outer leaves and leave the center intact. It keeps producing new growth from the middle, giving you multiple picks. The flavor is mild, slightly sweet, with a lovely satisfying crunch. Outstanding in stir-fries, noodle soups, ramen, and raw in Asian-inspired salads. And for a beginner looking for their first real win, something that looks impressive, grows fast, and tastes genuinely good, this is the crop. Try it. Tell me in the comments whether it surprised you. I'm betting it will. Number 9. Might be the most astonishing entry on this entire list. Mung bean sprouts. Ready in 3 to 5 days. No soil. No sunlight. Just a jar, some water, and patience that, honestly, isn't even tested. Step-by-step method, slow and clear, like you're walking someone through it. Here's the full method. Rinse a handful of dried mung beans and soak them in water overnight. The next morning, drain them and transfer them into a jar covered at the opening with cheesecloth or a sprouting lid. Anything that lets air in but keeps the beans in. Set the jar in a warm, dark spot, like a kitchen cupboard. Twice a day, morning and evening. Rinse the beans with fresh water and drain them thoroughly. That's the whole job. By day 3, you'll see white sprouts appearing, plump and curled. By day 5, the jar will be full of crisp, fresh bean sprouts, ready to eat. They're packed with protein, fiber, and vitamins C and K. And the texture, that satisfying crunch in a stir-fry, spring rolls, ramen salads, sandwiches. You cannot replicate that from a tin. Start a new jar every few days and you'll never run out. The whole process costs pennies and uses almost no space whatsoever. 3 days. From an empty jar to a fresh harvest. That is genuinely the fastest food you can grow with your own hands. Number 10 is mustard greens. Fast-growing, peppery, and criminally underused in most home gardens. Baby leaves are ready in 21 to 28 days. They germinate in 3 to 5 days, grow vigorously in cool to mild weather, and actually improve in flavor after a light frost. Cold sweetens them. It's one of those rare crops where bad weather works in your favor. Scatter seeds on the surface of moist soil, press lightly, and keep them watered. They thrive in zones 2 through 11, which is about as wide a range as any vegetable gets. 3 varieties worth growing. Mizuna, a Japanese variety with feathery, delicate leaves and a mild peppery flavor. Beautiful on the plate. Red Giant, dramatic purple-red foliage and a bold, spicy kick. It adds color to everything. Tender green, smooth, almost spinach-like leaves with a gentle warmth. Use the cut-and-come-again method to harvest repeatedly from a single planting. Mustard greens are rich in vitamins A, C, and K, as well as calcium and folate. They bring a distinctive, lively flavor to salads, wraps, sandwiches, and cooked dishes that's hard to replicate with anything else. Few crops offer this combination of speed, nutrition, and real, bold flavor in such a small patch of space. Perfect closer for this list. Alright, the bonus tip I promised you at the start. This is the one that separates gardeners who get a good harvest once from gardeners who have fresh food coming out of their garden every single week. It's called succession sowing. And the rhythm is simple. Every 14 days, sow a small new batch of any of the fast crops from this list. It works like this. You sow your first patch of radishes or arugula or lettuce today. 2 weeks later, you sow another small batch in a fresh section of your bed or a new container. 2 weeks after that, another batch. By the time you finish harvesting the first patch, the second one is ready to cut. By the time you finish the second, the third is ready. You create a rolling cycle of harvests that runs from early spring through to late autumn with no gaps. No weeks where the garden has nothing to offer you. Mark your sowing days on a calendar. Keep it simple. Just a recurring 14-day reminder on your phone is enough. The gardeners who produce the most food are not the ones who plant more. They're the ones who plant often in small amounts consistently. This one habit alone can double or even triple your total harvest over a single growing season. I've seen it happen. I've done it myself. It works. You don't need a big garden. You don't need a lot of time. You need a rhythm. So that's the list. 10 vegetables that go from seed to plate in under 30 days. Starting with radishes at 22 days, microgreens at 7 to 14, and finishing with mung bean sprouts at just 3 days. If you take nothing else from this video, take 2 things. Grow baby bok choy. You'll thank yourself. And start a 14-day succession sowing rhythm right now. If you found this useful, leave it a like. It genuinely helps more people find the channel. And subscribe if you want more practical growing guides like this one. I'll see you in the next one.